I considered this. Would I think verbal abuse was acceptable or something that I needed to work through in a relationship if I didn't experience verbal abuse in my childhood from maybe close friends and family? If that behavior had never been pre exposed to me in my youth, do you think that you would find that behavior acceptable and manageable, workable, outable if you hadn't been exposed to that? If you had grown up in an environment that was loving and protective and you were felt safe to express yourself, to express your emotions, do you think that you would be putting up with an environment that doesn't feel safe where you aren't able to express your emotions safely? Because that would feel counter-reactive. It'd be like, this is unnormal. So I realized just because it feels familiar, just because it is something I've experienced in the past, doesn't mean that I need to or have to experience in my present adult life. Just because you're used to people talking that way and dealing with each other that way doesn't mean that that has to be your continual reality in your adult life. And that might look like stepping outside of those normal circles and being courageous enough to build connections with people who think, look, and talk differently than you. If that means being in a safe environment, being able to express yourself as your true authentic self and being accepted for who you are. Aren't you worth that? Don't you deserve that? Don't you deserve safety in relationship? What can you do to get it? It's not going to be inviting things that may be familiar but are yet unhealthy. Just because you're familiar with eating pork doesn't mean it's the best choice for you. Just because you're familiar with living in the hood doesn't mean as an adult you have to live in the hood. You can create what is best for you. What do you want to eat? What do you like to eat? What's healthy? And it doesn't matter if your family's doing it. It doesn't matter what they're going to say about you. It doesn't matter if they think, oh, she's trying to be different. She's trying to be all that. She thinks she's better than us. Those are their thoughts about themselves projected onto you. You know why you're doing it. Maybe the reason why you can't settle is because there's a calling on your life. Maybe the reason why you just can't do what everybody else does and you have this unbelievable sense of discipline and urgency and purpose is because you are called to be the change in your heritage and your lineage. But it would take you doing what? Being courageous and being in alignment with that feeling, with that purpose, and not submitting to the opinions of others, not submitting to what society is doing, not submitting to, well, my family does it this way, to an ideology that may not serve you. Maybe it did serve everyone else in your family, but the reason why, again, you can't sit in that seat that everyone sat in all those generations before you is because you were made to create a new seat. You were made to create a new path. You were made to create and show your daughters, your sons, the people in your family that we don't have to live this way. We can actually have that life God talked about. We could have it and more abundantly. And that looks like being in alignment. That looks like, in all thy doing, do it diligently. That means having focus, intentionality. That means living an intentional, focused life. That means not taking an old mind into a new environment. That means being renewed, being transformed. If you want to unlearn generational ideology, if you want to heal past trauma and relationship baggage, if you want to restore your heart, mind, and self-esteem after betrayal, I have daily free discovery calls. Book your free discovery call, and I can't wait to see you on the other side of change and transformation.